Mountain engines. Bad lookout. Rheneas and Skarloey were talking quietly to Culdee next morning when Duncan stormed up, followed by Sir Handel. "Hello," chuckled Rheneas. "Here we go." "I nearly came off," fumed Duncan. "Those coaches pushed me. The thing controller says they didn't. He says I'd kept a bad lookout. We've no money to mend you, he said, and if it happens again, I'll leave you at the back of the shed. Why does he always pick on me? It's not fair." Skarloey said nothing. He just winked at Rheneas. "As you were saying, Culdee," remarked Rheneas, "you had 2 coaches on your trial trip. Now, our line is so steep that they're only allowed 1. We each have our own lines, called Catherine. I know her well, that's most important." "Why?" asked Sir Handel. "There are only coaches. Ours," said Culdee, "are something more. You could pull the old coaches, and you can see ahead. We push ours up so we can't see. They watch the line for us. The guard watches too, of course, but Catherine's so clever that I know at once if anything is wrong." "That must take a load off your mind," said Skarloey. Culdee smiled. "But not off my buffers. Climbing is hard work and needs a lot of steam. My fireman and I have a tiring time coming down," he went on. "It's different. Catherine and I just roll. We need no steam." Sir Handel sighed impiously. "Oh, how it's like that," he said, "with your automatic brakes. It sounds like a risk." "That," replied Culdee, "was just the mistake. Poor Godfrey had made—" "Who," asked the little engines, "is Godfrey?" "Godfrey was our number 1, and named after a king," Culdee replied. "Perhaps that went to his smoke box and made him conceited. He'd never keep a good lookout. He'd roll down the line looking anywhere. But at the track you'll have an accident, I told him. 'Pah,' he said, 'I've got automatic brakes of mine, and Driver's got his air brake. What more do you want?' 'More sense from you,' I said. 'No engine can stop at once if he isn't ready to obey his driver's controls. The first thing a young engine learns,' agreed Skarloey. Godred never learnt since his driver and fireman and the manager all spoke to him. They even took him to pieces to see if anything was wrong. He still went on in the same old way. One day I was going up and waited at a station for Godred coming down to pass me. As I waited, so it happened, one moment he was on the track, the next his driver and fireman jumped clear as he rolled over. No one was hurt. His coach stayed on the rails and the guard braked her to a stop. They brought Godred home next day. 'We've no money to mend you,' said our manager, 'so you'll go to the back of the shed.' As time went on, poor Godred got smaller and smaller till nothing was left." "Well, what happened?" asked Duncan anxiously. "It's not nice to talk about," said Culdee, "but what happened? Why isn't it our nice drivers use Godred's parts to mend us?" answered Culdee mournfully. Sir Handel and Duncan were unusually silent long after Culdee had gone home. Neither Skarloey nor Rheneas ever mentioned that Culdee had made the story up.